What's up, everybody? We made it. Day 3, the grand finale. SMCGR, global rankings, FGFS men's are here. We're talking about the top 10 best riders of 2024. FGFS had an amazing year, tons of progress, tons of riders, new faces, lots of old faces mostly. Let's talk about the Cusp. The Cusp, if you're not familiar, or if you have the memory of a goldfish, is people who are just on the verge of breaking that top 10 list. Remember, as always, this may be the 2024 list, quote unquote, but all of the riding will be about 2023. What did you do in 2023? Did you put out a lot of videos? Did you put out any edits? How'd you do in competitions? All of this factors in. First up on the Cusp is going to be Los Angeles' own Oscar Lopez. Great filmmaker, great bike rider, always competitive, doing great in competitions. He placed 5th in our FGFS contest that we threw in November. That was his pro debut because he was always entering and before that, and he performed really well. He did some really great tricks. He puts out pretty consistent content throughout the year. He uploads to his YouTube channel somewhat frequently. 2024, he's already uploading a lot more, so we're already looking to log that stuff in for next year's SMCGR. Oscar is a super strong all-around rider, good grind tricks, great bar spins, not afraid of stuff, always fun to watch. Second person on the Cusp is going to be a large fan favorite, and that's going to be Danny Quinones, aka Big Dog Woo Woo, aka Static. Static had a really great year. He placed 1st in the AM division at our Suck My Comp 6 event that happened in November. Honestly, if he was in the pro division too, he might have even placed top 5 because he had a really great run. He posts really consistently on Instagram, makes really fun Instagram edits that kind of show a little bit of like life and riding. And most of all, he's just progressed a ton since last year. Also, don't get it twisted. Danny is an OG. I've known about this guy for a while. He's not new to this sport. He's been doing this shit. He's got that veteran bike control, and he's only going to continue to get better this year. Next up is a relatively new and fresh face to FGFS as a whole, and that's going to be Korea's own Jaewoo Park, aka Pizza Aang. Jaewoo came in hot onto the scene, 700C rider, got really good at bar spins really quick. His flat ground riding is really impressive. He's got most combinations you can think of that involve a bar spin. But Jaewoo is on the FGFS list for a reason. He's really been taking his tricks to spots and just really progressing a lot. He's been really exciting to see come up, and I'm excited to see him keep going. Next up is another fresh face to the list, and FGFS as a whole, once again. That's going to be Ismail out of France. I remember seeing him ride last year and thinking, oh yeah, he's got some potential. And then now all of a sudden, he's like one of the best riders putting out content right now. He's super hardworking. He put out a really great edit for 2023. Tons of spot usage and great displays of bike control. Really strong overall rider now. Great bar spins, great fakie wheelies, solid grind tricks. All around, he's getting really, really good. Really quick. Not only did Ismail put out a really killer edit and puts out consistent Instagram clips, he also got 3rd place at the Fixated comp that happened in August. Watch out for him next year because he's on an absolute tear. Definitely gunning for that top 5 placement next year. Last up, an absolute legend and an absolute veteran is Jackson Bradshaw out of Salt Lake City. Jackson, one of my personal favorite riders and a great friend. He put out the FOAD Gang Last Try video at the beginning of 2023 where he had a full section. This section was legendary. Jackson is super creative when it comes to spot usage. His take on spots will be different from almost anybody else that you know. And then with that banger, with that ender, it just reminds you that Jackson also isn't afraid to send it, which he doesn't display that often. That roller coaster grind was just so scary looking, hopping into it and then start just cooking down that. Not easy, not for the faint of heart. Jackson also blesses us with a few Instagram clips here and there, but he's very active on the FOAD Gang YouTube channel, always putting out really fun, bite-sized content for us to watch. Go rewatch his last try part if you get a chance because there's really good tricks in there that I feel like got overlooked by a lot of people. And with that, we are hitting the top 10 FGFS riders in the world. SMCGR. Let's get into it. Number 10 is going to be Holland's own Yori Slipper. Yori has been killing it this year. He's getting so comfortable riding park, boosting airs, really great bike control, always keeping it very stylish with sliders. He's got some really great backlash control. He does some really fun, unique lines involving those. got second place at the fixated comp that was thrown in August, and he does this all strapless, which makes it 10 times harder. Number 9 is a very familiar face to this list, and that's going to be Bay Area's own Matt DeZone, aka Matt Bastard. Matt had a really solid year, as expected, because he's one of the most consistent posters on Instagram. Matt rides a ton, maybe a little bit less now that he's a dad, but he still gets out to ride consistently and always films clips. Tons of clips. Not just any clips, very creative clips. Clips that take a long time, clips that are hard. Always banging his pegs on things, always finding weird setups and doing weird things at normal setups. Getting really comfortable with that brake, not afraid to use front and back. And then he also had his very first signature colorway come out with Master Bike Co., the Cerebral Lavender. Overall, a really great year for Matt. Number 8, one of my personal favorite riders to watch right now is going to be Juan Nieto out of Colombia. I've watched Juan really come up over the last few years, and his riding is better than ever right now. Juan has really great style on his bike, and he really stomps all of his tricks. He's getting really great at riding spots, and he's riding more than ever right now, or so it seems on Instagram at least. Tons of clips coming out on the Ephemeral Gang page. Juan also got first place at the fixated comp that happened in August, beating out Yori and Ismail, 2 very strong riders. Overall, a really impressive year for Juan. Probably the most activity I've seen him do, because usually he stays pretty quiet on the gram. Number 7, a personal favorite, that's gonna be my boy, Marco Marquez. Nobody rides like Marco. Marco is one of the best riders to touch a fixed gear bike in a long time. I remember discovering him back in 2011. He was riding a Thrasher. What's crazy is he didn't have that awkward noob bad style period where he was still learning. He was just instantly really stylish on a bike. Fast forward 13 years and he's only gotten more stylish and of course like 10 times better. Marco had a relatively quiet year compared to others, but the little amount of activity that he did have is just always game changing. He's doing 720s, he's 540ing off stuff, double bars like nobody's business. I do have some clips stacked up with him. I don't know if we're ever gonna get to finish that anytime soon because I don't get to see him that much, but once that drops, it's gonna be some really good stuff. He's also always out filming with Oscar, and I know that they're going to be riding a lot more in 2024, which is really fun to see. Marco also had a signature colorway release with Master Bike Co. this year in probably what is one of the coolest colorways that bikes have ever seen. Marco also didn't partake in any competitions this year, which was unfortunate because he usually comes to our Suck My Comp events and places at least top 3. So relatively quiet year for him, but the little amount of riding he did do is just mind-blowing. So Marco Marquez, number 7. Number 6, the hardest working man on this list. That's going to be Chase Davis out of Salt Lake City. Chase has to be the most consistent poster in the 26-inch FGFS genre. I feel like he posts a clip every day and nothing is recycled. He's just always getting new clips. My man works on elevators, then he gets off his shift, goes and rides bikes. You can always expect consistency from Chase. He's got a huge bag of tricks, knows how to use them, great at riding spots, and he's always really stylish. Super pleasing to the eye to watch Chase Davis. Along with a tremendous amount of activity for the year, he also placed 4th at the Suck My Comp 6 event. Chase is a staple in the scene, and we can always count on him for consistent quality, clean, cheap heat. Number 5, your favorite rider's favorite rider. It's going to be Corey St. Augustine out of LA. Corey is the only 29er pegless killer on this list. Corey will put his bottom bracket on anything, which if you don't know is a terrifying grind to do. And as we may all know, because I won't shut up about it, he released one of the sickest edits that has ever come out in fixed gear history. An 8-minute, 3-song part, 3 years worth of footage, just killer 29er pegless street goodness. I've watched it about 20 times so far, and I hope that you have too, because like I just said, it's one of the best FGFS edits that's come out in a really long time. Corey also won Best Trick at the Suck My Comp 6 this year. And lastly, he posts relatively consistently on the gram. An incredibly strong year for Corey around the board. For number 4, we're flying back overseas to Korea. It's going to be Seongmin. Seongmin is relatively new to the scene. Last year, I briefly mentioned him for the Cusp, but this year, he just absolutely took off skill-wise. He's done a good amount of NBDs, like flat 540s, 720 cabs, crazy bar spins, tail whips, you name it. Seongmin is truly doing BMX caliber stuff on these bikes. He's starting to dabble with some spot riding too, which always gives you bonus points in my book because riding spots is a completely different beast from riding flat ground. The flat ground part, he absolutely has dialed, but I'm excited to see him take it to more spots this year. He also posted really consistently, which we love to see. Number 3, our golden child. Not really a child anymore, but he's still our baby boy. That's gonna be Chase Henley out of Southern California. If you know Chase, you know that you can associate his name with progress and insanity. Chase is one of the most progressive riders on a bike right now, doing BMX caliber tricks at BMX caliber spots. His crank arm game is getting ridiculous, and the rest of his trick bag is just as preposterous. The biggest advantage that Chase has over most of the riders on this list, though, is that he's not scared of anything. He's truly pushing the boundaries of what you can do because he's not afraid to go for new things. His tire rides are getting just ridiculous, and his crank arms are getting so dialed. And I know he's been stacking for an edit. I think he's got like 5 minutes worth of footage. And once that video drops, because I've seen a lot of the clips, he's gunning for that number 1 spot this year. Number 2, the king of last year's list, LA's own Matt Spencer, aka Wolfdrawn. Matt had an incredibly strong year as always. Matt lives and breathes this stuff. Along with posting super consistently on Instagram, he released a 13-minute web edit called Take It, which featured him traveling around to just the coolest spots you can think of and doing amazing tricks on them. Matt is somebody else who's really not scared to just absolutely go for it, charging the fastest that you can ride possibly on these bikes because your feet will spin out if you go too fast, and just going the distance so far. When he may lack in maybe grind tricks or bar spins, he absolutely makes up for in just giant gaps, riding transition, and creativity. He also had a 3rd place finish at Suck My Comp 6 this year, only falling short to 2 incredible riders, Miguel and Chase. Matt is super consistent. He's dedicated to his craft. He's been in this since the beginning, and we're super lucky to have him in the scene, still putting out 13-minute edits. Number 1 on the list, the king of fixed gear freestyle for the year. That's going to be LA's own Miguel Zendejas. Miguel is one of the most technically gifted riders the sport has ever seen. I know I've said this a few times already, but Miguel is doing BMX Pro caliber tricks on his fixed gear. His front wheel control is ridiculous. He's got tail whips in his sleep. All the normal stuff like bar spins and spins are just, we don't even need to talk about that. He's got those dialed. He's mega consistent. He got 2nd place at both the Conquer Concord competition and the Suck My Comp 6 competition. Those were the only 2 competitions that happened in the US this year, and he's the only rider who placed top 3 in both of them. He posted very consistently on Instagram this year too, which in the past he hasn't done very often because he's had trouble riding a lot, but really got out and put in work this year. He also had a signature frame release with Master Bike Co. in his cool blue colorway. Not only does he do incredibly technical maneuvers, he stomps everything convincingly. Have you seen him do a tuck no? He'll tuck it out, then grab the bars and push him back forward. Just lands it. Overall, nobody can really touch Miguel with the tricks that he's really comfortable at. He's doing feeble hard 3s, 360 tuck nose, tail whips like no one's business, tons of amazing grind tricks and spin tricks. Miguel's our fixed gear king for the year. Well deserved. Last but not least, maybe the moment you've been waiting for, let's talk about the People's Champ voting. Introduced to the SMCGR last year, the People's Champ lets the people, that's you, vote for your favorite riders to see who is crowned the People's Champ for the year. I'll give you the top 3 votes this year. At number 3, with a solid 70 votes, is going to be Jaewoo Park, aka New Pizza. With a very close 2nd place is going to be Netherlands' own Yuri Slicker. And then lastly, our People's Champ for the year, kind of a wild card, is going to be Southern California's own Zach Bubinski. He had a solid 149 votes. Congrats, Zach. You are the People's Champ for the year. And with that, SMCGR 2024 comes to a close. Thank you to everybody who voted for all of the People's Champs in all of the categories. Thanks for watching all of the videos. When everybody gets into it, it makes it really fun to make these. Make sure you like and subscribe for fixed gear freestyle content straight to your feed and straight to your brain and your eyes. Tell me who I missed for the FGFS list or any of the lists for that matter. Any complaints, leave it in the comments below. I'm J-Ball. I've been your host for the SMCGR. Thanks for having me. With that, SMCGR 2024 out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.